Chapter 15. Tom parked his car in the lot and hurried to meet with Roland in his office, when it occurred to him that he had forgotten to call his daughter, even though he wondered whether her mother would allow it. He made a mental note of that and knocked on the door as Roland called him in. "Hello, my brother," Roland greeted with a wide grin that could betray his inner joy. He had been with the Woodlocks family since Roland was a growing boy in the house, long before he took over the management of the media firm from his father, who was assassinated a year after his son graduated from Harvard Business School. Though very young, his father had no problem entrusting the business to him to manage immediately upon his graduation, a move that proved a blessing, as Roland had no trouble taking full control after his father's death. The atmosphere in the family had always been happy, but the joy in Roland that evening was far beyond anything he had ever seen in the family. "Thank you. Have you won a lottery?" Tom asked as he walked to the chair. "More than a lottery, my brother. More than a lottery," he said as he moved towards the coffee stand to fix himself one. "What would you take?" "I'd rather finish before I celebrate, but if you are in a celebration mode, then I will adjust," he said, joining him to make a cup of tea for himself. "So what is behind the joy?" Tom asked. "The Lord had made me to understand fully what my purpose is, and the reason why He allowed my family to start this business. Above all, He had accepted my offering to Him." "You are talking in parables. You mean you have just discovered your purpose?" Tom said as the word hit him back like a hammer. He was not sure he had discovered his either. He thought briskly as he turned to inquire, "So what is your purpose?" "The Lord told me to give Pastor David a coverage of his teachings and make sure the message gets to the ends of the earth. He will also have me give him the largest auditorium for his meetings," he said as he saw the look of surprise on the face of Tom, which suddenly formed into tears in his eyes as he looked up, praising God. "You can't believe this, but this is an answer to my prayer. I have been burdened by the fact that the church hall had increasingly become very small, but every time I raised the issue, Charles would tell me, 'Pastor David is not ready to do anything about it except the Lord do it.' That is another thing. I told him almost a week ago, but he would not accept it unless the Lord approves it. I have waited all week until today. He came and gave me the good news that the Lord is pleased with my offering. I have never been happier. Praise God. That man is a man of God. He does not worry about anything and would do nothing without God's approval," Tom said as he threw his hands up in praise to God. "So what is the great news you have for me?" Roland asked as he took his seat. "I have been able to track the man who ordered the killing of Maggie," he said, but saw a look on Roland's face that showed no interest in his announcement. "You don't look interested, I can see." "Yeah, I have decided to let everything go and let God handle it. I can't protect myself. He had promised me that no harm would come my way as long as I do His will," he said as he drained the cup of coffee. "Well, it will interest you to know that the man I am talking about is currently a convert and is on fire with this movement of Pastor David." Tom suddenly saw that his interest was arrested at that. "You mean, he comes to the Bible study?" "Yes, he does," Tom said, draining his own tea, wishing he could take more but resisting and focusing on telling Roland his findings. "I was in the church last week when Charles told me of a man he suspected to be John Hans. His voice and physique were his, but he had a different person's face with the name Mario Brown. We were concerned about Pastor David because of the numerous threats he had received since he refused to wed a gay couple in his former church." He swallowed hard and continued, "So when he told me the same man had visited the pastor for counseling several times, we decided to meet with the pastor to know what was up. Pastor told us part of his story and said he had genuinely repented and needed help. I decided to approach him and pick up his number at last week's Bible study, and met with him today." Tom got up for more tea before he continued. He could no longer resist. He saw that he had Roland's full attention. "I am sorry, but I need another cup," he said apologetically. He told me the whole story about what happened, and why he had to take a new identity even though he knew that he would not be able to hide for too long because of the demonic network he belonged to. "So why did he kill Maggie?" Roland asked rather curiously. "Long story, he said as he took his seat at the table. I have all the time, Roland said as he relaxed in his chair to listen.